Hi, this is Mia, and it's Sunday or Saturday morning, and I am in a lot of pain head to toe from this automobile accident that occurred about a week ago. And even my inner ear, like my jaw is all messed up, and my inner ear is all messed up, and like my temporalis, like from here down, I can move my neck, so I'm like usually hypermobile, but it hurts, and like every time I do something, everything is out of whack, my ear is out of whack, and I haven't found one single person that will help me, and people were wishing me happy birthday, like, I did get 3 cards, thank God. I get really sad. But I give more people cards than I get back. I mean, it's not about cards, but it's like, like, some people, they are good at having people help them celebrate their friendships, and they're, like, making someone feel like an actual person in a society, and not like an outcast. I mean, that's like far end. Like, someone's like, oh, let's go to a restaurant and eat just to make you not feel like an outcast. Like, no, it's like, let's go out and eat and to make you feel special. But it's like, hasn't really happened to me. It's been years, like most of my life, so it's not really, I can't remember celebrating my birthday. There was a party when I was in 1st grade, and there was a party when I was once in high school, where there was like 3 or 4 girls came over. I think it was like 3 girls came over and spent the night, and we went to a movie, because there's people, there was like the movies, so it was probably 3 girls that came over, and I invited a bunch of other people to the party, and nobody came, and then I actually saw a bunch of them at the movie theater, and they were like whispering and talking about me, and I was just like, really? There were some nice people I knew in junior high and high school. They used to invite me to their parties. I think one of them felt sorry for me, because there was this girl that was like racist and hated me, and she was jealous of my family and stuff, but until you really know someone, you usually find out what's really going on. Nothing to be jealous about. But I think some people's parents teach them, like for instance, a friend of mine was not allowed to watch The Cosby Show, because that is not, black people are not smart. Black people are not, like, kind of preppily dressed, traditional clothes and hairstyles. Black people were not doctors, and black people were certainly not wealthy, and my friend was banned from ever watching The Cosby Show. And then I went to college class on weekends to stay at her house, and I had this big old Jeep Wrangler, which, when you're a college kid and you have a Jeep Wrangler, like, your friend's dad's like, oh wow, this is a really awesome Jeep. It's like, it was an Islander, blue, turquoise blue, but it makes for good conversation. But they're like, she told me that, and it's like, it's hard, people for 18 years, for their, entire life, being told these lies and being brought up racist. And everyone I know in my family has a college education beyond bachelor's degree, except for, I can only think of one person but this person works a lot and does business and modeling and stuff like that, so whatever, that's like their own path. That's very smart. I am in debt because of my education alone, so that's just stupid on my part, I think. But my mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family, everyone, like, the bachelor's degree is here, they're all here, like, whether it's master's, whether it's PhD, whether it's even teaching certificate, all that stuff. It doesn't even matter. I just don't understand when people come across saying that blacks are stupid and poor and don't know how to get off welfare and don't know how to get a job. When you're competing in societies where there is only whites, as I found out, it is very difficult to get jobs and housing and buy cars that actually run and not be ripped off from everything you do, from car repairs to, getting quotes on things you want to buy, having people lie and be like, no, I didn't do that, I told you this price, and then try to make it, and I know they're lying. Healthcare has been a big, huge thing that I don't get. I don't get health care for most people. There's a few people I know that have been using two. My kid's dad doesn't at all, and they're all divorced. They're all married a long time like me, and they got divorced, and we're in the medical field. There's a couple. I'm saying a few. I meant like there's a couple people I know that have a little empathy, and I'm sure that they're also the type that actually got child support and had a job as practitioners and had decent housing. I mean, it's easier to buy a house. It's cheaper to buy a house than to rent. And especially if you live in a place owned by the city, they will charge you. They will charge me several $100s more than if I were to rent a regular house in a very nice neighborhood. I can't get those houses. I've went to every single one of them. Very affordable rent. Basic house. It's not like it's a 6,000 square foot mansion with a pool in the backyard, but it's in an excellent neighborhood. And a lot of people that can't afford that or don't care about that, or, my biggest thing was not that it's nice, besides the fact we came from a place where we were shooting each other. It was in drug dealers on my street. My biggest thing was I want to be near my kid's school so I don't get an $800 a month daycare bill. I would have paid double the rent and have a really nice house just to keep my kids. Well, I don't want to pay double, but you end up paying double because of daycare. And kids that are old enough to stay home and they don't have a ride home, they have to. I don't want to send a 5th grader on a bus, but a 5th grader can, like a city bus, a 5th grader can walk to or go to ride carpool from $7 or for, if I lived a mile outside of school, the school bus would have come and got my kids. I went all directions trying to find a place. I even went so far as to say potentially move into an apartment, which I didn't want to do. People above you on each side of you, and I don't know about below. That would have been. I had a fireplace too, and a pool. Where I was like, and it had heated ceilings, which seems really cool. I don't know why ceilings. It's even better to have a heated floor, but heated ceilings. It's old fashioned. But, and part of the problem is the bathroom area. I think it was only 2-bedroom. Part of the problem, yeah, it was only 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom. It had like a bathroom area that was like, not a bedroom area with a window. Yeah, the first floor window was aluminum frame that all get damp. It was a smoking area right out there. That would have irritated me. And a parking lot, so you wouldn't be able to just like open the blinds and look at the sky without other people walking by looking at you. I told God I'd be willing to live there because it was 3 blocks from my kid's school. Maybe 4. Whatever, 4 or 5 blocks from my kid's school. And I didn't want a 2-bedroom. We came from a 3-bedroom townhouse. And we didn't get it. Well, in my mind, part of me is like, I could walk here. And I even wrote, all these people denied me. I even wrote a bunch of letters. I'm a responsible parent. I always pay my rent on time. Rent always goes up. I work part-time. I'm a medical student. Almost graduating. My kids are in a special school. I have, but everyone, we have better applicants than you. Why do we waste our time letting you live in my house or my apartment? ended up here, and I'm still... Everyone's like, you didn't try hard enough. Nobody finds their house on the first time. 7.5 years. I did this intensive drive around, write down, stop at every corner, writing down every single name, every phone number of every house and every address. I did that for a really long time. 7.5 years. And kids would have Girl Scout camps and different things, day camps. Not my girls, the girl and my son, you know. And I was doing this while I'm working, take care of my kids 24/7, without break, no camps, no take care. It's overwhelming. I just remember for weeks, days, and about driving like a 4 square mile radius, isn't like a circle, but just going through all of them, calling them, pulling over and calling them right then and there. Pulling over, calling them right then and there. And I understood it was a nice neighborhood close to downtown. And I understood it was probably very high on the being rented. The thing, this is what the truth is, why I keep kind of sighing. You're on the phone, you would say, hey, I've been living alone with my kids, and just being upfront, and my rent currently is $925 a month, or whatever, and basically I'm commuting, spending hours in the car, and spending hours, spending all this money on daycare, which is one of their basically credit, and move closer to my kids' school, and we've been looking in this neighborhood. Kids go to school like 1 to 5 blocks away, or they have classmates in this neighborhood who can carpool. Like, on the phone they say, oh, you sound like an excellent candidate. I'm like, and I'm going to come over and fill out the job application, or the screening credit check, and I'm like, I am currently have such income, and some of it is from loans, and some of it is from a job, and, excuse me, sorry, and I'm like, trying to say that I've been like those, always pay. The only time that I got a notice was everyone paid late after the due date, so they didn't check the box really until after the due date, when everyone else's check was in there, and mine, because I always paid it on the first day, they overlooked that because it was actually on time, not like 15 days late, and they put an eviction notice on my door. And I went to the mentor, and she was like, dude, she's like, oh, I know why they did this. They have a big group of people that comes in late with their rent, and yours isn't in that pack because you paid actually the first of the month. And she's like, I'm sorry about that. And she put a big cancel, this, that, and the other. And I got a copy of it, and they put a copy in my file, because it's like, you don't want to be in trouble for paying, you know. It's bad not to get in trouble because you're actually in trouble, but to be in trouble for not being in trouble is the worst. So, yeah, I cared about that, but I kept that paperwork and everything, and it's not like something, it was just like an oversight, and it was nothing that I did wrong. I ended up going to all these houses that say, how soon can you and your kids, or you by yourself, come to my house and see the rental? I'm like, I can be there in half an hour. You know, and I'd get in the car and go. They'd be like all excited, and they'd have a clipboard or whatever, and see me and my kids get out of the car, dressed fairly decent. Sometimes we went after church, and I had the kids out, like, they're all like, like, you know, on Shirley Temple or something. They're just like, baby little, like, cute kids, wavy. They'd be like, nah, get back in your car, black lady. No, they'd say that silently, but they'd be like, no way, clipboard is gold. Like, I'm not even gonna give you the application, I'm not giving you a credit application, you're gonna waste your $60. Too bad. But over the phone, they're just like, how fast can you get here? You sound excellent, you sound like a very responsible person. Yes, I am. Da-da-da, da-da-da, I have inspections all the time, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Okay. Black face cow. I hate it. I hate the treatment because they're like I even offered to pay like 6 months in advance one time. And I was like, I have a place that's nice. I have a 1,200, 1,300 square foot townhouse. I'm like, it's just in a location that I don't that I had to commute, and I need to study and feed my kids and give people baths and take care of my pets. Like, I don't need, and I volunteer in the community and work. I don't need to be in the car 3 hours a day. And my friend, after I moved over here, I ended up in another housing program. My friend was still doing that commute, and I saw on her Facebook, she's like, I don't know how long I can put up with it. It just killed. It was like you rush to work, you're commuting, you work all day, then you want to go home and be, showing cats and your cats and watering your garden, and you're in the car till 8:30 at night. Like, I've done that before. It's like, and that's not even counting trying to go grocery shopping or get gas or pick up clothing or whatever you need, because you need that stuff to live and to work. So I saw that lady and I was just like, oh. I said, grumbling, I said, oh dear God, please forgive me for grumbling about all this. I'm in a position where I prayed about it. This place came up when I was looking for all those houses. I was looking to buy a house, and at that point in time, I had enough money for a nice down payment, like a typical down payment. And this is a city where an average house, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, maybe 1 half, no basements, maybe a 1-car garage, if that. Decent yards, usually even 1,100 square foot is like a 235. 235 is what you usually see when it's a foreclosure or a quick sale. You might see 180, but you're talking about. I saw a house that was gutted. House for in a rich neighborhood. It was like literally gutted. Somebody took the walls and everything down, and that they didn't do anything after that. And I almost wish I could do that here. It's like sometimes, like, the location next to freeway and next to a busy place, next to all the strip bars and adult bookstores, really, it makes it hard for you to be like, oh, let kids just go out and go grocery shopping and do all by yourself hours of the day and night. It's like, no, it's kind of creepy. I mean, people do it, but you feel like there's better places. I don't know. It's just because you're more connected to the people that are using those services than, like, it's not unheard of, and it is very common in this city for kids who are walking to or from school or from the bus to be approached, usually by some weird guy in a truck. It's the same guy. It's happening. It happens all the time, and it's always on the news. And those are fairly quiet neighborhoods. So, like, if there's a predator, they're gonna know where they're gonna try to find people. And if they're child predators, they're usually on some path to some school. Is typically what it becomes. So I don't want to judge people for using those services, because they are legal. It's just strange activity that occurs day and night in this neighborhood, especially at night, that I don't even want to take my garbage out. I'm still praying. I feel like I missed several days at work, like a week of work for the most part. I feel like I had this inclination right once regular kids started school in September, that I needed to stay here. And I also had this voice from my dad saying, oh, about another 4 years I could see you getting your own house. And actually, but it's like 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, 14 years. I rented for 20 years. I have rented for about 16 years. Owned a house for like less than 2 years, and moved because of location, and that was all screwed up with my ex-husband, and there was abuse, and I was isolated, so, and he gave my house away, which takes me off too, but, because I could have used the money for down payment for another house, or help start the college education, or have emergency fund, anything like that, and he just gave the house away for a couple grand on 3 acres, and we had barely enough to rent a U-Haul. That guy, the idiot, it's like, are you stupid? And I disagree. Not sell it. Like, do they have more money, or let's rent it out to them? They're, a day's drive, you'll go back down there, but it's like, so if I listen, like, so it's like, you can't ignore the voice of God, but you can't let other people's words distract you from God and His book. So I and voice saying, no, 4 years. 4 years I could see, but it's like 16, 17 years renting a house. At the rate that I pay right now, I could have owned a house, paid off a house in 10 years, and the same size as this one in a decent neighborhood, and I could have put a down payment on a second house, like a better house, and rented out the first house. Like, literally, I could have done that. I would have been in the first couple of years. That's what everyone does around here. They buy cheap, and then they live there, they pay it off, and then they buy their dream house, and then they rent their other house out. Because usually you don't buy a house in a slum, You don't, you could sell a house in a slum, but the people that are smart, they buy cheap in a nice neighborhood. So it's like, in 4 years, like, in the past several years, with the income, part-time work and stuff, I wasn't paying off loans. I would have paid less money to buy a house than to rent a house. And paying less money to buy a house than rent a house would also mean borrowing less for loans. So you're borrow money, expenses, your living expenses are higher than the average person's, you're going to borrow the max. And then the interest on top of that is going to make it 3 times. It's like your rent is $900 a month, $1,200 a month, 3 interest. Like, my loan is doubled. And the interest has caused my loan to double in a few months, or a year or so, whatever. It just keeps going up. So, in 3-4 years, I'm going to be paying this extensive $500,000 loan. Literally. I added up what it's turning into. And I wanted to buy a house in this neighborhood around 2006. And I listened to my dad and said, oh, it's not a good idea. And just borrow the maximum money so that I could live here. And I was spending hundreds of dollars a month on gas and hundreds of dollars for daycare. I just felt, and I was borrowing the max in order to buy gas and daycare, and just being hungry, going to high-end grocery stores to get snacks, sit in the parking lot, wait for traffic to quiet down, and like, it's either that or idling on the highway hungry. So, like, all this stuff, I said, well, this is the best I can do right now. But I know every single one of those times I was listening to my advice from my dad. Most people's parents I know in school, a lot of them's parents paid their down payment or co-signed for them to buy a house, especially when they were living with their boyfriends and got pregnant, and then they would be like, oh, grandma, or grandchild's coming, we can't have you live in some slum, in some dangerous neighborhood, or some moldy place, apartment somewhere. So a lot of people I know are paying big old bucks, or their partner has them in some big old house in the hills. It's like, I feel like it's beneficial to where wanting to be a physician, where people, like, doesn't matter if they're physicians or not, but they are working hard, they're making sure their kids are well educated, they're taking care of their yard and their house and their car and keeping up on stuff. Going to work, not trying to scare the government for welfare and food stamps and trying to scam the healthcare system by having 10 kids all paid with taxpayer money. It's like, that's where I am right now. And it's people's houses can't say that they're dirt poor the way it looks. I mean, maybe they're renting it from that Aaron's rental place. Maybe they're renting their furniture, which is stupid. I don't think they are. I think it's just, if you get thousands of dollars a month in welfare, of course you're going to have a huge screen TV and all the games for your kids. Of course you're going to have leather furniture and all this antique looking furniture. It's like antique furnitures. My mom would buy antique. She bought it. Real wood, real glass, real pretty cherry looking wood or oak. It's people have like new furniture that's real wood. That's like thousands of dollars. It's none of my business, but it's like, it's hard because it's like you want to get up and go to school and work and sleep at normal hours, and when you do own your house and are paying off your car and all your loans, paying your utilities, you don't have money to be spending at the barbecue place or the happy hour every night and Starbucks, you know. I mean, sometimes people, they do work hard, they go to Starbucks because they're actually working, but it's like, I see the welfare people carrying all this Starbucks every day, 2-3 times a day, and buying all their pastries, and it's like, I'm online getting raw honey and raw cocoa for my health benefits. I'm getting the cheapest price, period. I'm getting it and waiting for it to sell, use a coupon, and that's like health, not just free. And I'm like, to each his own, you know. But I'm just want to say that I'm right foot is tingling. I'm gonna do something about. I'm gonna pray about this serious pain that I'm in from this automobile accident. I've never been in one. I'm in so much pain and my movements are restricted. I'm wobbling around like just like a crazy, like I'm just like hobbling around, and I just feel bad. And yeah, I mean, okay, housing thing. And there's that living in a community. I mean, it's like if I move into a community where people are all professionals and they're going to work and taking their kids, because even Dave Ramsey's like, no, you don't want to be in the rat race. You want to own your own business and work your own hours and be able to have days off when you want, and have managers working for you, so you don't have to do 9 to 5 or 9 to 10, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. working. He's like, you want to have your own business and have it kind of pay for itself, or income generating properties and all that. All the stupidest thing. Financial teachers say the same thing. He's like, but everyone knows that, they just don't really do it. So here comes somebody.